Hi, we're the Crafty Boys. We're totally rapping like. Okay, forget it.
Wiggity, wiggity, wiggity.
We're live!
Making that noise.
Welcome to 154th. 154th? I don't know what that is. Episode 154 of the Crafty Boys. We were off last week because I had to go somewhere. I've forgotten where I went. Yeah, I was told I had to go, so therefore I had to go. So I know, totally. But yeah, so whatever, we're back now, and Locke is here. Oh, Dave's arrived. Excellent. All right,
everybody,
and everybody is present. And
don't forget about me.
Well, you had the thing. Who are you again?
Asshole.
What a jerk! Huh? Totally. Fucking just hogging the live.
All right, let's get to the beer. It's hot here. Let's get to the beer.
It's hot. I have the air conditioner rocking, and this week, the beer is the Stanley Park Brewing Trail Hopper IPA.
And why did we pick
this? And the special Ontario guest beer.
Oh, what did you look? What?
Whoa, flying monkeys.
Flying monkeys.
Flying monkeys.
What's the actual? Is that the name of the beer or the brewery?
Ginger Bell.
The Ginger Bell.
Ginger Bell. And
are you drinking ginger beer?
No. Well, it's got ginger in it. It's a stout.
Beerologist.
Yeah, beerologist. Check this. This is important. This is relevant. Can you read that?
One who drinks a shitload of craft beer. Yeah. Hey, we're all beerologists. You heard it here first, people.
It came in a box. It's a box.
Normal is weird. It's a box.
Okay,
weird.
So Shane, without further ado, let's tell everybody why we're drinking the Trail Hopper IPA.
We're drinking the Trail Hopper IPA because it was available and on the shelf.
And
it's from Stanley Park Brewing.
And it was suggested by a viewer.
Yeah, screw you, Dave McCann.
No, by a guy named Weekend Nachos.
In your face, Weekend Nachos.
We don't know much about Weekend Nachos, but he suggested that we try the Trail Hopper IPA from Stanley Park Brewing. And he said that he hopes that we can all find it, and he's loving the content. So that's great. Thank you very much.
Hey, we have two fans. The Trail Hopper IPA from Stanley Park Brewing is something that Stanley Park Brewing. Now, if you don't know anything about Stanley Park, it's a park in Vancouver. Big surprise there. But Stanley Park Brewing is actually one of those breweries that has some new digs, or newish digs, in Stanley Park. There used to be, I think, if I remember correctly, a restaurant in near English Bay that basically was a, I don't know, some sort of Asian fusion thing, from what I recall. And I gather Stanley Park actually is moving to that location, or at least their brewing part. And I think that they are, it's actually, I think it's a restaurant as well. I'm not sure if it's actually open. I can't remember. There was a big thing about it because they're going to be like moving a lot of all of their stuff there. It's just unclear from their website whether or not they're actually open. I don't think they are yet.
Okay.
So they're getting this really swanky new space that's kind of cool. I mean, also there's a restaurant chain of some sort called the Tap and Barrel. They recently purchased the building and all of the equipment from Steel Toad IPA we fell in love with at some point last year.
Yes.
And Steel Toad is gone. It is now called the Beer Hall, I think. So it's a brand new. Basically, what happened is that the restaurant Tap and Barrel actually wanted to start brewing their own stuff. So I'm not sure who owned Steel Toad before that. I thought they were doing quite well, but apparently they weren't, which is a little surprising considering some of the stuff that I've had there. We had the peated beer that Locke and I had there. Years ago, we all what was it called? What was their IPA called? We really liked.
It was the word Kermode.
Right. And and that was amazing. We enjoyed that a lot.
It was amazing.
Fortunately, you couldn't get it there, but they did that short run of canning it.
And that could be the problem, is that the short runs, you know, I mean, you can't really build a following if people can't get your product, right?
Well, there could be another significant problem, which is to say that they could have just been pumping fucking money into it and not taking any out, you know, like that's unsustainable.
Right.
So let's talk about we will talk about that issue later in the episode. I have
all right. Okay, so let's focus on this
nice sort of
Trail Hopper IPA.
It's kind of actually, it's very much a lagery kind of thing. It's not very dark at all.
No, it's not. It's a juicy kind of IPA. Now, I've actually had this year before. I've had it a few times, and I'll go into why shortly here. But let's everybody try it and see what you think.
I've had it before because I broke in one night, and it was amazing. I just dove straight into the vat. It was like, oh yeah, I swam in that stuff. I was drinking it down.
Yeah, man.
I only peed a little.
Every time I think about peeing in beer, I think of Strange Brew in the scene where the Rick Moranis character is in the big, huge vat, and he's like incredibly large, and he's like, oh, I have to pee so bad I can taste it. Those are the days.
All right.
Okay.
What do you think?
So I like the smell. It's got a really nice light hop sort of scent to it. But I got to say, it's a kick in the mouth, and Dave's going to hate it.
Well, I don't know. Let's let Dave decide whether he hates it.
This entire episode. Hey, Dave.
Actually,
I have a feeling this is going to be like the hey, he likes it moment.
Yeah. Hey, Mikey. All right, Dave. What do you think?
I think I would have to say I'm in the middle. I'm having it because it's what we chose. I'm annoyed that I didn't look for the tall boys because I got a freaking 6-pack.
Oh.
Yeah, well, that's what I could find at the Cascadia. So, anyways. But yeah, left to my own devices, no. I wouldn't drink this. But...
But as far as IPAs go,
well, I must be getting a little bit of a taste for it, admittedly forced. But this is not bad. Like, I can drink this and it's not horrible. Like, I'm not trying to force it down. Let's put it that way. So it's not bad. It's not bad. But yeah, I would not, just go out and get this for myself.
All right.
And I think we all know the story.
Sure.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Shane.
Sorry, I'm still on the him choking down beer part. I gotta say, I'm impressed. It's definitely got a very kind of, I don't know, tasty hop. Like it's swirling around in your mouth, and it's like in love. And then it's like later, and then it's gone, and then you have to drink more in order to get that back.
Yeah.
It's not overly powerful, but it's subtle enough that you're kind of like, I want to.
It makes you want to have more, doesn't it?
It does make you want to have. It's like the McDonald's food of brewing.
It's like McDonald's fries.
You can't have just one. You can't just have one, or whatever
Well, I think that's Lay's potato chips. Whatever. The principle's the same. So
Crack or something.
Yeah, I find the same thing as Shane. Actually, it's not the best IPA in the world, but is by no means the worst IPA. Like, I've had ones that tasted, way not as good as this, but it isn't a fat tug. But I will say this.
I tug a couple days ago at the Whip restaurant.
So I will say this. You can get a 500 ml can of Stanley Park Trail Hopper IPA for about $2 plus tax.
Damn it.
And I gotta say that can is looking a little bit. It's that forest is looking Emily Carrish.
You know what? The labeling and the marketing on their website is spectacular, I find. But $2 for a 500 ml can, maybe $2.25, depending on where you're going. Compared with, say, buying a fat tug, which is what, 750 mils for about, $6 to $7. If you're looking for an IPA and you're on a budget, and who isn't on a budget these days, the Stanley Park Trail Hopper IPA is got value bursting out of the can and out the seams and all over your desk and everything. It gets kind of messy. The value is everywhere. So, I mean, heavy value, and while it's maybe not a fat tug, it's not that far off.
Huh. All right. Nice.
Now, I will say this. I had a difficult time finding this. These things were all over the place, and now they're not. So I went to my Liquor Plus down the road, and they had like hundreds last week. They've got none now. The BC liquor stores in town, they're advertising on their website. They have some, but they've got significantly less stock than what they advertise. So, yeah. But I managed to find one. So there we go.
Nice.
Yeah. Why did you have to get a 6-pack? I actually couldn't find it in 6-pack, Dave.
Well, it was this morning before work. I had about 15 minutes to figure my shit out. And I'm looking around Cascadia, and I'm thinking, I can't remember if these guys do bombers or not. So when I realized, no, they don't. So then I went and looked at the cans, and there it was. That was the first thing I spotted, was a 6-pack, unfortunately. So that's why I got that.
All right, man.
That looks very Belgian, sir.
So, little bit of a story here.
Okay.
I actually went to Barrie because I was on my way to Gravenhurst. So I actually went to Barrie to the actual Flying Monkeys brew pub to get this. Now, they also had some kind of crazy Imperial Russian stout there that was like 18%, aged in barrels. Wow. The 18%, it's hard to get a malt liquor at 18%. I have to wonder if there isn't some alcohol rubbing off of those barrels. Maybe those barrels weren't totally empty, but I didn't get that because I've got a horrific cough. And so this one had ginger in it. Their other product, the notable sort of high-end bottle that they had, it was chocolate. Like double chocolate, chocolatey chocolate. Like the words chocolate just kept coming up. So I ended up going with this one because it had ginger in it. And I thought, well, if I've got a throat, ginger is sort of what you do. So I thought, this would be a good idea. It's like medicinal, right?
Yeah, I'm behind that.
I've already had one of these. And it was very good. But I will say this: it definitely has a little bit of a chocolatey flavor to it. I think what I find interesting about what Flying Monkeys are doing. So their standard IPA, I can't remember what the hell they call it. It's sort of like Mad Tom, which is that's Muskoka Brewing's IPA, which is to say that it's very hoppy, but not necessarily as balanced as sort of what people are doing in the Northwest. It's like they were just trying to catch up on the hop factor, right?
That place looks amazing. You actually went to their brewery or their actual place with all the posters on the ceiling and stuff?
You got it, yeah.
God, that looked awesome. I just
look cool, right?
We don't have any place as cool as that around here. My God.
Anyway, so the overall picture is that when they do a high-end product, they're really heavy on the chocolate. I mean, it's like it's sort of like a recurring note that you get with all of what they do. But I've got to say, this is a very tasty beverage. It is somewhere in and around 11%.
Wow.
Can you taste the ginger a little bit? Not a lot, but it's there.
Okay.
Otherwise, it's what it is a really, I would say, flavorful, a little sweeter than I normally go, but a flavorful sort of in the chocolate stout end of the picture, you know?
Right. It's looking very good. Very
yes,
tasty.
and it's tasting all right. Mm.
Now, I have to ask you, Locke, while you were pouring it there, it seemed like you were trying to shake stuff out of it. It looked like almost like you were pouring ketchup. What were you doing there? Is it?
Oh, I was just trying to get every last drop.
Every last drop. Okay.
Every last drop.
It seemed like there was maybe solids in there that you were trying to get at.
No. Well, I'm thinking solids in there.
Now, I have to ask, because it came in its own little box.
Although, yeah. Okay, go ahead.
So that screams to me expensive. How much was that?
Okay, so this clocked in at about $12.
That's actually cheaper than I would have suspected.
It is. I was thinking 20, but
yeah, their Russian stout was I think closer to 25.
Wow.
Right.
Yeah.
Did they tell you what kind of time they aged?
So this one was aged 4 years.
Oh wow, 4 years?
What?
4 years, yeah.
And they only charged you 12?
Might have been a little north of that, but it was like that. It was like, yeah, somewhere in there.
I was drunk at the time.
Maybe as much. I wasn't paying that much attention to be totally honest. I was kind of in a hurry, but it might have been as much as 15. I think all in, I got 2 bottles for around $30.
Wow. And I have to mention that I tried a beer this past weekend. If you'll recall, I believe it was episode 150. We had another viewer make a request. His name was Dave McCann from Nanoose Bay, that wanted us to try Category 12's Juicy Data, which is their kind of hazy, juicy IPA entry. It was so popular that their first batch of this was completely sold out inside of like 5 weeks or something like that. I mean, they were completely, Category 12 posted that they were completely caught off guard by how popular it was. And that is why we weren't able to find it for our show for episode 150. But the popularity prompted Category 12 to make another batch.
Nice.
Which is out on shelves now. It looks like Category 12 is kind of going through a bit of a rebranding. Their cans are
I love their cans.
Are changing. They're changing the artwork. It's got this sort of like colorful, shiny, circular design on them now. Very, very striking looking. I thought they were doing it for just their regular, for their special stuff, but it looks like they're doing it for their regular stuff as well now. So I think it's going to hit their entire line. I don't know what it's going to mean for their bottle labels. But anyway, I picked up a 4-pack of Juicy Data, and I tried it on the weekend, and it was very good. I was impressed with it. And so I just wanted to give a shout out there to Dave McCann that I did manage to try it, and it was fantastic. Thank you for suggesting it.
One final note on the Flying Monkeys here. The inside of the bottle cap. The inside of the bottle cap here.
Yeah.
You see the bottle cap?
Yep.
The inside of the bottle cap has a pithy remark. Beer has food value. Food has absolutely no beer value.
Deep thoughts.
2 on that.
Jack Handy.
Oh my god, that's awesome. I went to get some beer and then take my kids to Disneyland, and I took them to a burned out warehouse, and I said, "Oh no, Disneyland burned down." Cried and that was my favorite Jack Handy, was him doing that to children. That's the matter. Does that make me evil, man? Yes.
Should we steal that that pithy comment from underneath that bottle cap for us? That would be a perfect sort of like.
Sure, they got it from somewhere. So yeah, why not?
Yeah, let's steal it. We're gonna steal it.
Is that our official tagline now?
It's not called steal. Well, yeah, I guess it's sort of stealing. When you announce that you're stealing something, is that stealing really?
We're not announcing it. There's only 2 people watching at most.
God, who the hell is watching this?
Well, apparently Dave McCann and Weekend Nachos.
There you go.
The 2 guys
may
that
not be
love
watching right now.
All right. So the Great Canadian Beer Fest is coming up in about 4 weeks. Dave, you're going to be there, right?
We'll see.
Okay. But they released this week their beer list for everything that's going to be going on there. They have in total 67 booths. They've got 3 breweries from Ontario, 4 from Quebec, and 1 from the Yukon Territory. They've also got 4 breweries represented at an Alberta Brewers booth. And the BC Ale Trail. Are you guys familiar with the BC Ale Trail?
Nope.
No. So the BC Ale Trail is a beer tourism movement here in BC, where you can go on these specific trails, and they suggest brew pubs to visit, breweries to visit, restaurants, etc., etc. Anyway, the BC Ale trailer is booth 67 and will feature brews from several breweries not located locally. They include Fieldhouse, Whistler, Yellow Dog, Backcountry, Kettle River, Twin City, Strange Fellows, Gibson's Tapworks, Beach Fire, and Cumberland.
Oh, Cumberland's going to be there.
Yes. Beach Fire, I believe, is
going to be there.
Beach Fire, I believe, is from Campbell River.
I would
That
guess.
sounds right. Yeah.
I would. So it sounds like we got some Sunshine Coast in there too.
Yeah. Gibson's Tapworks.
Yeah.
Now the Alberta Brewers booth number 39 is going to feature 4 beers, 1 each from the following breweries: Blind Enthusiasm Brewing, the Dandy Brewing Company, Blindman Brewing, and Town Square Brewing. Now, I'll be honest, I've never heard of any of these breweries, but each one will have a beer available at booth number 39 at the Great Canadian Beer Fest this year. Now, I'm just going to go through some of the beers that are going to be available here, just to highlight if you guys are interested. Are you?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, sure.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I want to know if Gladstone is there.
Gladstone, I believe, is going to be there. Yes.
Nice.
Now, this is interesting. Central City in booth 1 is going to have a beer there called Thor's Hammer.
Oh, I totally know Thor's Hammer.
Oh, of course, we all do. Thor's Hammer may be one of my favorite beers. It's a barley wine. Anyway, it's going to be there. A new brewery called Mariner will be at booth 2. Mm-hmm. They have, among other things, a Venture Blueberry Sour, which is a sour ale brewed with 1,000 pounds of local blueberries.
Wow.
Yeah, 1,000 pounds. That's
a lot of blueberries. Local blueberries.
Local blues. Now, I don't know where Mariner's from. It doesn't say. But I'm going to suggest that they're from BC somewhere.
Okay.
There's another a new
Mariner
brewery
Brewing
called
is in Coquitlam.
Coquitlam. Okay.
Coquitlam.
There's another new one called Collective Arts. It doesn't say where it's from, but it's their logo says Collective Arts Art Brewing. So that we're going from craft brewing to art brewing. So they're going to be bringing an IPA, a dry hopped sour, and a gose.
Okay.
The local breweries aren't really doing a lot of special stuff here. So, and that's par for the course, which is maybe a bit of an error on their part, I think. Otherwise people aren't going to pay much attention to them because we can get their stuff anywhere at any time, right?
Who is Souk Oceanside?
Who is Soko? Well, there
Soko Oceanside Brewery.
Souk Oceanside Brewing is just before Cecinos in Souk.
Are they? I like their logos. They're very cool.
Yes.
We need to have these guys on the show, but of course, I don't know if do they bottle? Do they can? What's the deal here?
They do bottle, but they're fairly new. I don't know if they're available in Vancouver.
They've got a Stiff Jab Pale Ale, a Springboard IPA, a Renfrew Red Ale, and Bonfire Blonde Ale. So they're gonna.
Their labeling is this SOB, yeah.
Yes.
Sorry,
Souk Oceanside Brewing.
Souk Oceanside Brewing. I've seen some of their stuff on my shelves, actually.
Oceanside Brewing. I like it.
Mystic Beach Lemongrass Wheat Ale and the Moscow Brulee.
You've never seen the movie SOB.
Oh my God, a long time ago.
I'm not even. I've never heard of it.
It has been too long. I need to find that.
Okay, well, just to give you an idea of what you can expect from the SOB film, the SOB film is when Julie Andrews strips topless.
Oh,
whoa!
I've seen that.
Mary Poppins brings out the kiddies. It's a 1981 film that was directed by her husband at the time, Blake Edwards, I think.
Yes, it's Blake Edwards, the man who brought us the Pink Panther.
Exactly. So Julie Andrews, I mean, there was context for her to remove her top, but essentially lots of singing, lots of dancing, and then I remember her just ripping her top off, and you're like, what? So anyway, there you go.
You wouldn't expect that from
That's exactly what I remember from the film, but again, I was a lot younger when I saw it. So it's worth a viewing, Locke. When you're here, we'll have to give it a watch.
So one thing I noticed there's going to be a lot of at Beer Fest this year is hazy IPAs, trying to match that sort of juicy kind of IPA.
The Northeast IPA
flavoring
thing, right?
Yeah, so it seems like almost everybody's got one of those. There's going to be a new brewery called Winterlong, Booth 15. They're going to be bringing one called a Hazy Sexy Cool.
Between hop emulsification and Lapulin powder, I'm into the hop emulsification thing. Lapulin powder. What do you think about it? Do you think about it?
I don't.
Seeing as I've never heard about it, I would have to say no.
Effectively what it is powdered hops.
Oh, okay.
It's one of the techniques by which they get to that place.
Right.
I think it's sort of close to cheating, but I'm going to shrug my shoulders and go, you know what? It's beer and it's tasty and it's good.
Reminds me of all that crazy shit that some of the really the high flown chefs will start playing with, emulsification and foaming and all that kind of chemistry stuff that they get into.
Oh, look, I'm right into that. But if you're gonna do it, really do it. Don't just buy a box of powder.
Right. Now going back to the list here with the Alberta brewers, they have this one beer from Blindman Brewing called Pierre Turn 1, which is a feeder aged golden saison. Now I had to look that up. I don't know what a feeder aged anything is. Do you guys know what a feeder is?
Which
Maybe
one is
Locke does.
Which booth?
I mean, a junkie. I don't know what.
No,
Like
so a
what?
feeder is a barrel that is larger than a regular barrel. So apparently there's a barrel and a big one, but there isn't sort of like a fine line that determines when a barrel stops being a barrel and becomes a feeder. And feeder is spelled Foeder.
Okay, all right.
I don't know. I thought it was kind of interesting. I had to go look that up. Now, of course, there's going to be plenty of casks available at this shindig. And Peril 49 is going to have their very cherry smoothie sour. I'm liking the sound of that. Driftwood, which is a local brewing, is going to have 2 casks available. Cask 1, which I'm assuming is going to be available on the Friday, is the Old Cellar Dweller barley wine.
Ooh, the Cellar Dweller.
Which
And then
we all are still hanging on to.
Which we still have. We have our 2016 ones that we still have waiting to drink. And cask 2 is their Singularity Bourbon Barrel Aged Russian Imperial Stout.
Okay.
Nice.
Wait. Yeah. But we've done that, haven't we?
Dude.
We have not done Singularity, no.
On the show? Are you sure about that?
Mm-hmm.
Are you guys positive? Because
probably
I have
should.
records.
Consult the book.
Singularity.
we
I don't think we have, but let me look. Let me consult the book. And the winner is no. We have not done it.
Really?
Seems to me that's kind of a regular for them because I'm pretty sure I see it on the shelf a lot.
Oh yeah, no. I've been drinking that beverage since 2000 and something.
Yeah.
The only stuff
Singularity is only available for limited times, and it's kind of expensive as well. You can get it here at
we've done their
my,
Blackstone.
local store down the street.
We've done Blackstone. We've done their New Growth Pale Ale, Crimea River Ghosts, the Naughty Hildegard, Fat Tug, and I think that's it.
If we can all get our hands on Singularity, I think we should do it. But
I agree. I would not mind trying it out because I don't think I've ever had it. If I have, I do not recall.
okay, so I'll tell you what. After the show is over this weekend, let's see if we can get Singularity, and if we can, we'll do it. Because I know the store down the street has it, but that's the only place I've seen it locally. What a nice sound!
That was
of
a satisfying sound. That was the most satisfying thing I have ever heard. That goes. I'm gonna cut that out of the show. I'm just gonna have that as the opening for every podcast.
Nice.
My God, that was awesome. Sorry, I interrupted. Go ahead.
Cool.
I got to
So
say,
anyway,
the Trail
Beer Fest
Hopper. It's a
it
winner.
looks like it's going to be good, and there'll be lots of beers there. So get nice and loaded. That's my report.
That's your report from the question. You also put out a couple of other stories here, Alan.
Yeah, I did.
Van
I figured
driver
just in case we needed something to talk about.
Van driver sacked for deliberately drenching pedestrians in Ottawa, Canada. This is obviously a UK publication from Sky News, but I'm interested. Yes. What did he soak with?
This guy in Ottawa who drives a delivery truck was caught on a dash cam actually swerving his van to run through puddles to spray water on unsuspecting pedestrians.
So I'm just taking a peek at the video, and what a douche.
A dick move, but at the same time, the guy's probably laughing his ass off while he's doing it.
He nails some people pretty hardcore with wow, he was just totally so, what a dick.
Now the only reason why I brought it up for discussion here is because this was also posted locally here in a Victoria Facebook thing. And there was people posting comments to it with a lot of them, mostly males, saying, I've done that. This guy shouldn't get fired. I've done the exact same thing. It's fun. And so I just kind of want to get your guys, is this something that you've ever been compelled to do?
I think that it is definitely something that I've wanted to do. To basically drive down the street and splash people on purpose. I've never had the opportunity because, that would be bad.
You won't drive a big delivery van, but
I gotta say, I honestly, about, I don't know, it must have been it was probably 30 years ago. I was probably 15, 16 years old. And I was going somewhere with my mother. And we were driving along. And the address we were given, I think, was incorrect or was like 2 blocks out or something. So it was pissing with rain. We had parked our car. We had gotten out. We realized the address was actually wrong. We weren't where we were supposed to be. We were getting frustrated because we had walked and we're not lost, but we were not sure where we were supposed to be. And it was just one of those moments where, like, I'm about to give up. I don't care enough. I'm wet. I'm grumpy. And then a car drove by. This is like on a Johnson or something downtown, Pandora maybe, and in Victoria. And they drove by, and we just got soaked. And I remember it was sort of the first time in my mind where I'd actually ever witnessed my parents stare. And my mother turned to me, like, dripping already, and all is now covered in street water. And she just goes, "Fuck." So, yeah, I don't think we actually got to where we were going. But yeah, I remember that very vividly because I think it was I'd ever been hit with street water like that, at least in that amount. I mean, probably the odd time you get splashed here or there, but that was definitely, yeah. So, yeah.
So the delivery driver did get fired from his job based on the video being posted online. Whatever.
It is a dick move. I mean, if you're doing it on your own time, then you're just a dick. Doing it on your work time with your work vehicle, yeah, don't be surprised.
You're responsible, actually.
So, yeah, there you go.
All right, so speaking of dick moves. All right, let's talk about what optically sounds so great and yet in practice is so totally useless about a buck of beer.
Yes. All right.
I'm in Ontario right now. Rob Ford just got elected. Doug Ford. Sorry. Yeah, Doug Ford just got elected, who is Rob Ford's brother.
Yeah.
Can you
Now,
possibly explain that?
as a matter of curiosity, the brother of the guy who's known globally for doing crack cocaine just shut down all the safe injection sites in town. Because, yeah, right.
Can you?
We all know that marijuana is getting legalized. Apparently, Ford knew about this now. What? From the brother of the guy who smokes fucking crack on YouTube. But anyway, one of his election promises was he's going to reduce the minimum price of a beer $1 from $1.25, which actually, if you really stop and think about it, is not that exciting. But he did it, despite the fact that everybody in the beer industry kind of went, yeah, but we're not lowering the price of our beer. So discuss.
Well, it's reminiscent of what Bill Vander Sam did here in BC when he was running for premier in the mid 80s sometime, where one of his election promises was to make beer cheaper. And it was seen at the time, at least by the people that I was close to. I wasn't of voting age at the time, but it seemed like his pandering to the blue collar masses. Let's throw the blue collar.
As somebody that's been one of those blue collar masses, yeah, go on.
Okay, throw them a bone. Give them. Have you ever seen the Simpsons episode where Homer, he works at the nuclear power plant, and the union needs to create come to a new bargaining agreement with Mr. Burns. So Mr. Burns proposes to give them a keg of beer for every single one of their meetings, and in exchange, all they have to do is give up their dental plan. And of course, all of the blue collar men are all on board with this. So, yeah, I don't want to kick a beer in every meeting. Screw the dental plan.
The beer value of teeth.
Yeah. So it kind of strikes me as that kind of thing. Let's give these voting men, probably white men, their beer, and we're going to use that to take something of more value away from them that, they're not even going to notice.
Yeah. No,
you know what I'm saying?
No, that's exactly how that works. I mean, like the ridiculous thing about it is so I stopped and thought about it. Out of the brewers that are involved with the beer store, which if you're not sure about the beer store, refer to earlier tirades of me about the Ontario beer store. Statutory monopoly, blah, 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 owned by the world's largest breweries. Out of those world's largest breweries, which of them would be interested in taking a profit cut to support Doug Ford? Let me see. InBev? Belgian?
None.
I bet they don't care. Sapporo, Japanese. I bet that they don't care.
Yeah.
The only brewery that I could conceive of actually potentially taking them up on this would actually be Molson Coors. But Molson Coors have recently announced that they're getting into the cannabis business now that it's being legalized. Did you hear about the grow up that was running in the old Molson? There was an unused, like, abandoned Molson brewery that was being used unofficially by somebody, not Molson, so we understand, for growing cannabis, like 4 or 5 years ago. So now Molson Coors have decided, well, legalization's happening. Yeah, we're getting into marijuana, man. But the Ford Nation aren't sure about marijuana. And then yesterday it came out and I don't know the details. I'm curious to know whether this is related. That Ford, in order to encourage the Buck a Beer project, is offering non-economic incentives. That was the language used. Non-economic incentives to make it happen. And I'm wondering whether there's some kind of deal going on there relating to cannabis. I don't know the details. This is a question. Do you know anything about this?
Oh.
I don't know any kind of involvement with cannabis necessarily. I do know about the Buck Beer, you know, thing.
What the CBC was reporting on these.
But you know what? Nobody, and I agree with you, except for Molson Coors, is going to take them up on this. I can't see Steam Whistle doing it.
No.
I can't see any, like, Bose is not going to do it. Muskoka, no way.
No.
You know, these guys have built a pretty nice niche for themselves. Got a pretty nice market, and I don't think cutting their costs or cutting what they sell the beer for is going to help them in any way.
Be profits they'd be cutting.
Yeah, and it's not going to hurt them either, right? I mean, you know what I'm saying? I mean, if they leave the prices the way they are, it's not going to hurt them. They've got their loyal customer base. That loyal customer base isn't going to go away because Molson Coors starts charging a little less for their product. Let me put it to you this way. I'm a craft beer fan here in BC, and we've got lots of budget conscious options. In fact, we even have a beer brand here called a Buck a Beer. Do I know how much those things cost? I do not. I do not care because I'm not interested in that product.
I used to be. There was a time in my life where I was looking, where I was doing that. But here's the deal. Like, so back in those days, I wasn't like, you could not tempt me by lowering the price of beer. What you would have to do to get my part of the market, and it's not just me. Like, it was, you know, people who like to go to house parties, and when you show up with a house party, do you want to show up with a 6-pack of beer, or do you want to show up with flat?
Yeah.
You know, like,
you show up with a flat that you paid.
Show up with a flat, you might get laid.
Yeah, sure.
The point being, like Labatt Wildcat was a product that I supported. Why? Because it had an extra % of alcohol in it. Or maybe 2 extra %. I don't know. I used to drink O'Keefe's Extra Old Stock for that extra % of alcohol in it. You know, this was back in the old days before craft beer existed, really.
Yes.
You know. But you know, if I'm drinking piss, I'm not gonna. You're not gonna change my mind by making it like pissier. You know what I mean?
No. I'm going to say something here. Or was it this weekend? No, it was a couple weekends ago because we missed last week. It was hot out. I was with my in-laws and I was offered a beer. It was a Bud Light. Now, this is not something I would normally drink, but I didn't want to be rude.
You poor man.
And I took
I
it.
just wanted to punch them straight in the face and walk away in disgust.
No, I didn't want to do that. You know what? I drank it. I would never go out and buy one myself. But it wasn't that bad.
Did you throw up?
No. It kind of tasted like bananas.
Wow.
Like I
overripe bananas?
Huh? No,
Overripe
not
bananas?
overripe bananas. It just kind of tasted like bananas.
Okay.
I don't know why.
Okay. All right. While we're on the subject, so I was up at the lake last weekend, and it was crazy hot out. And you know me, like, like normally I'm the guy going for the high alcohol, high flavor beer, like pretty much all the time.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, when it's hot out and you're looking for something that's sort of more like pickled water than you're looking for something like a loaf of bread that you can drink, Carleen White is actually not too bad for you know, like I'm not a light beer drinker generally, but you know, like Red Stripe, I'll do a Red Stripe, sure, what the hell. On a hot day, it's great. Carleen White, for what it is, which is to say, you know, it's the old making love in a canoe comment. It delivers. What is it? It's got no aftertaste. It kind of got no foretaste, to be honest, but refreshing.
The taste is relatively questionable.
But for a refreshing drink to take on the boat, or something like that. Not that you're allowed to drink on boats. I didn't do that. But if I were to, that's what I would probably choose. Yeah, I mean, on occasion, that kind of thing, it's, you know, it's mighty serviceable. And I'd take it over Bud Light. I'd take it over Molson Light. Is there no. Is there a Molson Light beer? I don't know even if that exists. Is that a real thing?
I don't think so.
Not sure.
Yeah, probably not.
Go home. You're drunk.
Yeah, well, you know.
Go home, Molson
But
beer.
this is an area of the market that I don't visit much. You can tell.
What about Radlers? Why not a Radler? They're always low.
Oh God, no. The worst night of my life. All right, there was an occasion when me and my, you know, former partner Allie, we were in Calgary, visiting Calgary, and we went out on the town with a dear friend of mine, Amanda, who took us to a very charming place where we drank cocktails. And after a number of old fashions, maybe a dark and stormy, we then sauntered over to the Ship and Anchor, and they had a Radler on tap. I'm like, what the hell's a Radler? And they're like, oh, it's kind of like a shandy, but with grapefruit juice. And I'm like, okay, all right. Low alcohol, sure, why not? It's not going to affect me. But fizzy, low alcohol, fruity beer, drinking hard bar all night, what a mistake.
Really?
Oh my God. The hangover was the worst I've ever had. I mean, it was another world.
See, I would consider having a Radler as almost like a session kind of thing. Like I'm going on a camping trip, like a road trip, at the end of the month. We're going to be driving through the Rockies and stuff. And of course I'm going to take beer with me, but you know, I'm a responsible beer drinker. I don't want to get completely hosed every night or every day. So I'm kind of thinking maybe I'll grab some Radlers or something and take those with me. I'm going to have some to drink. It's got some alcohol in it, but I'm not going to get completely gooned from it. Right. I hope.
Doesn't have to have it.
Unless you drink a whole lot of hard bar first.
Right.
Now, there's a way of putting the two together. And this appalling Welsh woman that my friend was dating for a while, she introduced us to possibly the most diabolical drink ever. You know how skinheads drink snakebite?
No.
Oh well,
that.
Well, right. So in England, it's back in the 90s. It used to be banned at pubs. Like you could not order a snakebite because that was a drink for skinheads and football hooligans. And basically what it is half cider, half lager. But you all know what a shandy is, right? So a Radler is half beer, half grapefruit juice. Now, oddly enough, I've started to see lemonade Radlers, which is sort of like, do you not know the word shandy? But anyway, so this awful Welsh woman introduced us to what she referred to as a turbo shandy, and only the Welsh could come up with a drink like this. What it is Mike's Hard Lemonade mixed with lager. So you take your lager and your Mike's Hard Lemonade, you mix them together, and it makes you automatically massively drunk, then frightfully violent, and after the violence subsides, then you start puking your guts out.
Oh, wow.
Hilarious.
Oh.
Turbo Shandy. Next there's going to be a Turbo Radler. You watch.
Probably. Which kind of defeats the purpose of having a Radler, but whatever.
Yeah, really.
It depends on what your purpose is. I mean, if you're a football hooligan, I'm sure that's on point.
Yeah, I guess.
I'm not sure many football hooligans would go after a Radler, though, quite frankly.
That's why it would be a Turbo Radler. Be one of those fruity vodkas with lager in it.
Well, I got to say that your description of how you reacted to that Shandy Radler thing with your hard liquor, I would not be surprised if you didn't attempt to steal a shark from an aquarium.
Don't tempt me.
I was just reading this article very lightly here. A man was accused of stealing a shark from an aquarium, saying that he was concerned for its welfare. Why would you do this, for one? Two, why would you do this, for two? This makes no sense. What are you going to do with the shark afterwards? And how many Radlers did he really drink to get to this state?
So apparently this guy, this was in Texas somewhere.
Of course,
this guy was kind of like a shark rescuer. He wasn't stealing the shark so much in his mind.
He was rescuing
it from its.
Oh, he was like those dicks that kill the whales while they're trying to rescue them.
I guess so. Anyway, so he picked up the shark, and it wasn't a big shark. I mean, it's just little thing, and he put it in a baby stroller. He wrapped it. He managed to get this thing. He wrapped it in a wet blanket and put it in a baby stroller, disguised it as a baby, and wheeled it out of
Sorry, what?
Aquarium. Yes.
Like a shark looks a lot like a baby, right?
No.
And besides, he's rescuing it. The sharks breathe air.
You know what?
Sit there and
the more shocking thing than him actually doing this is that he actually got it out of the place and home. So apparently the staff there saw that the stroller was leaking water.
How did he get caught?
But he didn't get caught until days later. Apparently he had a tank at his house with a lot of sharks in it. And a lot of crabs.
Successful shark thief.
And he, I guess what he thinks that the sharks at this particular aquarium are not well kept, and he was rescuing it for better health.
Okay.
Where he's shoving it in a tank with dozens of other, it sounds like, sharks.
Well, I don't know if there's dozens necessarily, but he did have other sharks. I'm presuming that he was going to release them into the wild at some point. Anyway, the aquarium now has the shark back. They were very happy to receive it.
Yeah.
And they dispute this guy's claims that they're well-being.
Okay.
I don't even know what to think of this. Like, it's just insane. It wouldn't be high on my bucket list to rescue a shark. I could see maybe if I was some sort of militant whale saving person that maybe I would, I don't know, try to save a whale or something. But being from
What
Victoria,
about a whale shark?
Ever notice the whale kill list for whale savers? God, they managed to kill a lot of whales while trying to save them.
Well, I was just going to say that being from Victoria, that we learned a valuable lesson from. I don't recall who did this, but do you remember Miracle, the orca?
Yeah.
And she was rescued from some sort of terrible situation, like in the wild or something. I've forgotten exactly what, but anyway, the whale survived, was kept at Sealand, and some yahoos decided that cutting open the fencing that was underneath the water was a good idea. And Miracle, of course, was like, "Oh, what's this? I'll try to swim through this hole in the fence," and ended up just getting stuck and drowning. So so we learned if you grew up in Victoria in the era of Sealand, you knew right away, or you would remember what can go wrong from people trying to save captive whales. And what can you do? I mean, I'm not a fan of captive whales, but I think some people should be a little smarter about that kind of thing, because when you have
I'm not a fan
animals,
of captive whales. I'm a fan of guest whales. If we can't learn how to be hospitable to whales, then I think I think we're wasting too much time watching Trump on TV or some shit.
Well, exactly. But at least there's a briny ocean or a lake on Mars, so who knows? Maybe there will be alien whales there. Who's going to be able to figure that out?
Sorry, briny ocean on Mars?
Oh yeah, the last week they found using radar. They found they're calling it like a lake, but essentially it's probably more of a brine slurry, but enough to have life in it. So
interesting. Yeah. They've got that on Titan as well, eh?
Oh yeah, Titan is a hotbed. By the way, a couple days ago, Google Maps actually was released, or a new version was released of the product. And if you go to Google Maps on any browser and you zoom out from the planet Earth, you're suddenly in space, and you can go and visit other planets within our solar system, including Titan. So it's pretty cool, I gotta say. It's a neat little feature. That's all I got for this week.
I'm out of beer.
We've covered the gamut. I'm out of beer. I just finished my beer. So thank you all for watching. Thank you for coming by. Make sure to follow us on all the social stuff, which is somewhere on the screen. And of course, if you have suggestions, if you have comments, if you have any kind of commentary that we should be aware of, please leave it in the comments below, which are down this way.
And thanks to Weekend Nachos.
And thank you to Weekend Nachos for making the suggestion. We accept all kinds of beer suggestions, and hopefully we can get.
We even accept beer.
That's true. The mailing address is below. It's my house. Thank you guys, and I will see you all next week. And Locke, I'll see you in a couple weeks, man.
Indeed.
You might even be here for a show that we have to do here. Yeah. So there you go. See you all next week.
Cool.
Bye, everybody. Alan, take us out.